After witnessing 4 consecutive phases of what is being considered one of the harshest lockdowns amongst countries, India is slowly beginning to resume its economic activities. While the COVID-19 fear still looms large, many environmentalists see this window as an opportunity for the country to rejig its development model towards a low-carbon future. In India, buildings alone are set to contribute to 40% of energy-related carbon emissions. And considering the high density of population, the housing sector is in urgent need of an overhaul. Nilanjan Bhowal, an architect based in Delhi, has been working in the space of building sustainable, functional, eco-friendly homes for the last 30-odd years. A gold medalist in architecture from the Institute of Environmental Design in Gujarat, and a postgraduate specialization in energy-efficient architecture from Istanbul Technical University, Bhowal points out categorically that it is not about green building itself, but about green living that drives the philosophy around sustainability.
The biggest myth is that people believe that a green home is one that has a lot of green plants. You put in a lot of plants, lawn and grass, it becomes green, which is not so. Using natural elements, lawn and grass, and those are used for insulation. Using plants is good because it absorbs a lot of pollution, but this is just one little point in a green building. In a green building, it's actually green because it respects nature and it kind of uses the replenishable resources and reduces wastage, reduces consumption, and we recycle a lot of materials, and wherever possible we regenerate, from the waste, from electricity, from the air, from the sun, we are regenerating. So that is the actual reality.
Based on these very tenets, this roof, for instance, in the house that Bhowal lives in Delhi, is a green terrace in the making. Here too, he is using the same principles of insulation and rainwater harvesting that he had incorporated in one of his other homes in the city.
This house was last renovated in 2000, and we have again insulated the roof. We have 1 foot of insulation, and on top of that I used all the broken tiles that came out from the toilets. So all that were broken and used in the form of a pattern, and since a lot of them were light colored tiles, it reflects a lot of heat as well. And because of this raised insulation, we created in an innovative way a rear part of the terrace. That depression we used as a lawn. So when we use at least 1 feet of earth, it allows the grass to grow very well, and it is also insulating. And all the rainwater that falls on the terrace, 100% of that rainwater is used in a channel, and that is harvested into a tank and then recycled and used for watering all the plants in the terrace. And then we used solar panels. Of course, almost 100% of the load is on the solar panels. We are generating about 5 kilowatts of electricity. That is what has been installed here. And apart from that, the entire house has LED lighting, minimal air conditioning, because we've used all insulating materials for the walls in the interiors.
Not too far from here, in the Chittaranjan Park area in South Delhi, is a residential building that has earned a name for itself. Green One, as it is called, happens to be India's first 5-star rated green home, certified by TERI, the Energy and Resources Institute. Clearing rigorous checks and bars, this 4-storied house, designed by Bhowal, qualified to be one of the most environmental friendly individual homes in the country in 2013. One of its most striking features is the basement.
So these are all double glazing. This is the basement and the stilt area, and we've removed the slab so that we get in a lot of light. As you can see, all the glazing is double glazed, 2 layers of glass with a vacuum in between, so that insulates. It does not let in the heat, yet it lets in the light. As you can see in the basement right now, it's totally naturally lit.
The building has the capacity to capture 478 liters of rainwater over a period of 2 days, which is more than 75% of its 2-day water demand. It can also save up to 30 to 40% of power. Debjani Majumdar, who has been living here for the past 3 years, shares some of the benefits of living in a green home.
The first thing about the greenhouse is, of course, it's much cooler. During the long summer months in India, and in Delhi, when it gets so hot outside, at least it's 6 to 7 degrees cooler inside the house. The other thing is about the light. There's a lot of natural light inside the house.
Project Green 1 was undertaken when public policy consultant and tech journalist Prashant Roy was looking to redevelop his ancestral property. Keen to explore green technology at a time when the concept was largely uncharted, Roy went on to collaborate with Terry to develop the Swagliha app, one that would help developers design green homes in an age when green building rating systems were available only for commercial properties.
Biggest challenge was nobody had done it, and nobody had built a small home which was rated green. One reason was, of course, even the basic cost, even the basic registration cost of the process was 5 lakhs for the main GRIA system as well as the LEED system. So it was that expensive to just register for the process. So it was staggeringly, put you off if you actually thought of the costs of building a home. But as it turned out, it didn't get anywhere near that expensive. But I think that was one big worry at that point of time. It hadn't been done. So many of the systems that you needed for the green stuff, many of the control systems, the sewage recycling plant, maybe even the solar, the panels, the photovoltaic panels, the automation systems, all these were actually designed for offices. There was nothing for homes, as a result of which it could just be very expensive to install and maintain. And so in a sense, we were guinea pigs. And I also remember this was early days where there were absolutely no incentives for green. So there wasn't really that benefit also that you would do this and you would expect to start saving a lot of money at that point of time.
According to a 2019 survey, about 4% of buildings in India are green, while the country has set itself an ambitious target of achieving 10 billion square feet of green building footprint by 2022. As of 2018, it had reached the halfway mark. According to Bhawal and Roy, the premium required for building a green home is often the biggest deterrent for people to make the shift. However, both point out that while a green home may cost 10 to 15% more than an ordinary one, depending on energy and water savings, it is possible to pay it off over a period of 4 to 5 years.
They look expensive because the way they are detailed. We have resorted to all LED lighting. Then we have sensors which have come in. Even in an existing house, you can install small sensors where lights and things can operate depending on the movement of people. If a space is not occupied for a certain period of time, the light just switches off. Then we can of course use solar geysers. They can be very easily installed on the terrace, retrofitted. We should use solar panels. They are very easy to use. We can install the garbage composting system.
While the mushrooming of energy-intensive high-rise buildings over the last few decades have caused enough damage to an already fragile ecosystem, architects like Bhawal feel people are becoming more conscious of their choices, especially as they begin to prepare themselves for a post-COVID world.